Hi. Hi, how are you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry.
Who am I speaking with?
I am Luca Silioni. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Sorry.
The
One thing that I can mention before starting the conversation is that my English is not the best. There are a lot of words that I don't remember. Sorry.
Do you need an interpreter?
No, I think that I can do it.
Okay. Tell me your last name again, please.
Silioni. Silioni.
Okay. We were emailing today.
My email, my okay.
You and I were emailing today. This is Janice.
Janice, okay. Yes.
Okay. The judge is not here yet. He actually just walked in the room, so it'll be a few moments, okay?
Okay, okay. I wait.
Thank you.
Janice. Auxilio, no entiendo todo. De Billy, no escucho. Todavía no habla.
You ready? Please rise.
Hi.
You, excuse me, sir, we're announcing the beginning of court. Today is the 18th day of June in the year 2025. The Frisco Municipal Court is now in session with the Honorable Judge Ron Carson presiding.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. For many of you, it's the first time in court, or at least the first time in this court. Court procedures are designed to make sure you know why you're here to begin with and what your legal rights are, so you can then make an intelligent decision as to how to handle your case. Everybody does have the absolute right to go to trial, but you're not set for trial today unless you were here previously and set it for trial. This is what we call an arraignment or first appearance advisement. And the purpose is in each case, to make sure, one, you are informed of the nature of the charges against you. And to that end, I usually simply read the name of the charge because our matters are not very complex. If you feel you need the statutory definition, ask me and I can read you the detailed statutory definition of what each offense is. Secondly, I'm required to advise you of the maximum possible penalty. And again, don't let that in and of itself disturb you, but the law requires I tell you the maximum downside in each case. And then third, I'm supposed to establish on the record by asking you a few questions that you've read and understood your legal rights, and then we can get to how to handle your case. Now, I appreciate many of you will have talked to the prosecutor and already have paperwork, but I am still required to go through those steps before I can get to your paperwork. So please be patient. the things I'm required to do to make sure that you are advised of your rights. And then when you're pleading guilty, I have another set of questions I have to go through. So again, it takes patience to get through a court session, and I appreciate everybody's patience in doing so. That being said, it appears the first case I have is Mr. Solano. Is this the online? Okay. Sir, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sir, what I have is a summons indicating that you were summoned to court to answer allegations that you had no proof of insurance as required by law, contrary to section 1409 of the Model Traffic Code. Do you understand no proof of insurance?
Yes.
Very good. This offense has both a maximum and a minimum penalty. The maximum penalty is 4 points on your driving record and a fine as high as up to $2,650 or a combination of both. Do you understand that maximum?
Yes, I understand.
The minimum fine is $500 set by the state legislature unless mitigation is shown, in which case it can be reduced in half to $250. Do you understand there's a minimum penalty?
Yes, I understand the minimum.
You were provided the written advisement of legal rights. Did you get a chance to read and review your legal rights?
No, I didn't.
All right, you did not receive that. Is that correct?
No, I didn't receive nothing.
Okay. I guess that's because you're appearing electronically. So let me go over that. You understand everybody has an absolute right to contest the charges against them. And the process we do that is called a trial. Do you know what a trial is?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. And part of that the sheet we normally hand out says is it talks about all the component parts of a trial, which are at the start of the trial, everybody's presumed innocent. And if you plead not guilty, the prosecutor must prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. It also indicates that everybody has the right to confront and cross-examine the witnesses against them, meaning the witnesses against you, either the officers or whoever witnessed what happened, have to come to court either in person or electronically, and you have the opportunity to ask them questions. In addition, you have the right to bring in witnesses on your own behalf, but you're not required to. In addition, you have the right to testify or not testify at your own choosing, but you're not required to. Nobody can be made to testify against themselves, but you do have a right to testify. You also have the right to have an attorney. Traffic matters being a civil penalty in Colorado, there are no free attorneys on traffic matters. Ordinance offenses that carry a possible jail penalty do have the right to an attorney if you can't afford one. If you go to trial and lose, you can appeal my decision to the district and appellate courts of Colorado. So do you think you understand all those things?
Sorry, I lost the connection. Yes, I understand.
Okay. I don't seem to have paperwork. Well, I'll tell you what I do have for paperwork. It looks like a default judgment was entered on this, that the original court date on this was February of this year. And when you did not appear or otherwise respond at that time, a default judgment was entered and sent into motor vehicle. So what brings you in contact with us today?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Sure. The paperwork I have says you were supposed to originally be in court in February. I'm sorry, the date of the offense was February. You're supposed to be in court on March 19th of this year. And when you did not appear or otherwise answer, that a default judgment was sent out
Sorry, can I
Um,
talk?
Yes, I'm just, in a minute. So I'm just saying, that's what I've got before me. So my question was, what causes you to be here today? Go ahead.
It's because I live in Argentina. I was traveling in USA on February. I entered to USA on December and I left USA on March. But I live in Argentina. Now I am living in Argentina. I was traveling.
Okay. Did you have any contact with the court in March?
Yes, I have been talking through email with the court with Janice Papas.
All right, you're telling me you did have insurance in effect at the time you were stopped?
No, I didn't have it, but it was because I había comprado. I bought the car the day before that the police stopped me. But on the same day, February 7th, I paid the insurance.
Well, the paperwork I have looks like you bought the insurance after the police officer gave you the ticket. Do you
Yes.
contest it? No, you agree that's true. So,
Yes, I confirm.
all right. So what is it you want the court to do?
Yeah, I want to pay the ticket. I don't know how much I have to pay, but I am
Oh, all right.
I expect the minimum
Well,
because I don't want to have any problems with USA
okay.
government.
Well, the best I can do is I can lower the fine to $250 plus the $25 surcharge town council imposes and $30 court costs for a total of $325. So I will I will enter that order and turn you over to my court clerk to collect the money from you. And that'll take care of the matter.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Sure. I'm going to accept that you want to pay and tell you that the fine, I'm reducing it from 500 down to 250. But I also am required to add $25 town council imposes and $30 court costs. So the total you owe the court is $325. And I'm going to have you speak with my court clerk, Janice, or she will call you to take your money later. Janice? She will call you tomorrow and you can pay this off and that will close the case and you'll be done.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, very good. Moving right along. Donnie, is it Stofield?
Stofield, yeah,
It's part of it is the prosecutor's handwriting. Yeah.
yes,
Please come to the podium, sir.
yes.
So you're closer to the microphone. Sir, it appears you were charged with allegedly violating section 130-11 of the Frisco Town Code, which is illegal camping. Do you understand the charge?
Behind the Walmart.
Okay.
I got woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning
Okay.
by Sergeant and Gardner and all
And
that.
again, I'm supposed to caution you not to go too far into the facts because it could affect if you have a
Oh,
trial.
I'm pleading guilty anyhow.
All right, well, I appreciate that. Let me go through my checklist. You understand the maximum possible penalty for an ordinance violation is 364 days in jail and a $2,650 fine.
Yep.
You read and understood your legal rights.
Yes, sir.
You know what a trial is.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't have it.
Okay, and you
Because
understand you have a
I'll be
right
going
to
to
an
trial.
and you have a right to an attorney.
Yeah.
Okay, I have paper says you're going to plead guilty, first offense, and prosecution recommends useful public service in lieu of a fine.
Yeah.
Okay, you understand?
Because I live over in Silverthorne, and so I can volunteer for the Elks Lodge
That's great.
and
Yep.
and then I can turn in anything by mail or by, my phone texting, whatever you require.
Right, I gotta go through another checklist. You understand, by pleading guilty, you're giving up all the rights listed in the right sheet, which means there'll be no trial, there'll be no witnesses. The prosecutor will not have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You are giving up your presumption of innocence and right to an attorney.
Yeah.
Did anybody,
Apart sleeping.
did anybody threaten you, force you, coerce you into pleading guilty against your will?
I'm joking. And,
Anybody promise you anything not said in court?
no,
Is this your free and voluntary plea?
absolutely.
Are you under the influence of anything that affects your ability to make a decision? Now I've completed the required questions. How do you plead to the charge, guilty or not? Court accepts your plea, find me freely, voluntarily, and knowingly made. You are entitled to make a statement or further statement, and you're welcome to, but you're not required to. Is there anything you want to say before I impose the penalty?
No, I think he's pretty much summed it up.
8 hours of community service.
And I'll turn any time to the mail of the Frisco court
You know,
here.
the way we do, you have to find and get whoever it is you do it for to send us something on their letterhead.
They have to sign it, my hours off it, just, and then it's gotta have a heading of the Elks Lodge, which I will have.
Very good. We'll see you over at the Elks Lodge.
Yeah, I go there every Tuesday. Anything else that I need to get?
You need to see my court clerk for your paperwork.
Okay. Thank you.
Alex Cabarrus. Good afternoon, sir. You have been also charged with allegedly violating section 130-11 illegal camping. Do you understand the charge?
I do.
Maximum penalty is up to 364 days in jail and up to a $2,650 fine. Do you understand the possible penalty?
Yes.
Did you get a chance to read and review your legal rights?
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
No.
Feel you understand them?
Yes.
Know what a trial is?
Yes.
Understand you have a right to an attorney?
Yes.
I don't have how you'd like to handle your case, so please tell me.
I'm not, plead not guilty.
Okay? We'll set this for trial next month. Do we have any other trials set already, Janice?
No, sir.
All right. We will set your trial for 5:30.
July 16th.
Please see Janice for a paper reminder. We'll see you now. That's all for now.
Yeah.
You're on. You didn't give a deadline on the community service.
Oh, 60 days. Brought my own pen. It's that date in July. It's the July
16th.
16th. All right. There we go. Let's see. Oh, this summons got a little water on it, so it's hard. Makes it even easier to read. Humberto, is it Chevron? How do you say your name, sir? Do you need a translator? Janice? We have
We have no translator. We can
call language line,
do that.
and we're gonna call a translator.
It'll just be a moment if you want to move on to the next case.
Since I had Ms. Cruz in Silverthorne this morning, I asked her if she was gonna be here.
You did a translator.
Okay. Let me do another case while you're getting them online. Anne, is it Brittle? How's your name said?
No, Brittle.
Okay, very good. Ma'am, it looks like you're summoned to court for speeding. Do you understand speeding? In your case, more than 20, less than 39 miles an hour over the posted limit, which makes it a 6-point violation and a possible fine as high as $2,650. And if you're more than 25 over, a possible 10 days in jail. Do you understand the possible maximum penalties? You were provided the written advisement of legal rights. Did you get a chance to read and review your legal rights?
I did.
Do you have any questions about your rights? Do you feel you understand them? Do you know what a trial is? You understand you have a right to an attorney. I have paperwork. Instead, you would accept an offer from the prosecutor to plead guilty to a 3-point special hazard speeding and take a level 1 driving class. And I also have what I call a math problem that goes with this, which is I make people calculate the speed in feet per second they were going, feet per second at the speed limit, stopping distance at the speed you were going, and stopping distance at the speed limit, and a 1-paragraph essay about what you would do if a child or an elk popped out. Goes along with this. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
You understand by pleading guilty pursuant to the terms of the agreement, you are giving up the rights listed in the right sheet, which means no trial, no witnesses, and the prosecutor will not have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Did anybody threaten you to get you plead guilty? Anybody promise you anything not said in court? Is this your free and voluntary plea?
It is.
Are you under the influence of anything that affects your ability to make a decision?
No.
Now, I've covered the base. How do you plead to 3-point speeding? Court accepts your plea, finding to be freely, voluntarily, and knowingly made. You're entitled to and welcome to make a statement, but not required to. Is there anything you'd like to tell me? Court imposes the terms and conditions of the agreement, and the fine is pursuant to the discretion of the court. Original fine was $200. It's half the points, half the fine, $100 plus $25 surcharge, $30 court cost. Total $155. Can you pay that today, or do you need a payment plan? All right. The level 1 driving class will be due in 60 days, which is by August 20th. And please see Janice. Janice, you have a form order for my little math essay?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a language line yet,
I
or?
can get them on the phone if you're ready. Sorry, my phone is gonna die. Awesome. Well, this is gonna work. Sound wise.
Well, the alternative is I can either use Google Translate on my phone.
Language or that you selected Spanish. You will be connected to the next available interpreter. So that your interpreter may better assist you, please speak in short, clear statements.
Good afternoon. My name is Jacqueline. I will be your Spanish interpreter 406251. I will interpret everything today and keep it confidential. How may I help you?
Yes, Jacqueline, my name is Janice. I'm calling from the Frisco Municipal Court. Are you able to translate for court sessions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to hand the phone over to Judge Carlson, and we have another person here who needs the interpretation. If you have any problems hearing anything, please let us know.
Good evening. This is the judge. Sir, Humberto, is it Chevron? How do you say your name, sir? Could you come to the podium where the microphone is, sir?
Yes, se puede acercar. This is the interpreter speaking. May I introduce myself to the other?
Please, please.
Yes, thank you so much. Sabes, seré tu intérprete de inglés, interpretaré todo lo que diga y lo mantendré confidencial. Por favor, hagan frases cortas. ¿Me permite continuar?
Can you hear her all right? Okay. And ma'am, I'm required to give you the interpreter's oath. Would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear you faithfully translate each and every word stated verbatim from English to Spanish and Spanish to English to the best of your ability under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Thank you. Sir, you were summoned to court to answer charges that you had no proof of insurance. Do you understand what that means?
Fue requerido que viniera a la corte y tiene cargos ya que usted no tenía prueba de seguro o de, sí, de seguro. ¿Usted sabe lo que eso significa?
Okay. I am required to advise you of the maximum and minimum penalty.
Sí, fue requerido de contestarle a usted sobre el máximo y el mínimo.
The maximum penalty is 4 points on your driving record and a possible fine as high as $2,650.
The interpreter crying. Can you please repeat that for me?
Sure. The maximum penalty is 4 points on your driving record. I can stop there. I can break this out. And
Y el máximo penal sería quitarle 4 puntos a su récord de licencia de manejo
and a possible fine as high as $2,650.
$150.
Correct.
Y una posible que usted tenga que pagar la cantidad de lo más tanto que sea $2,000 con $650.
Do you,
$2,650, perdón.
do you understand the maximum penalty? And he answered already. The minimum penalty is $500 set by the state legislature.
Mínimo penal sería $500 hechos por la legislación del Estado.
However, that can be reduced in up to in half if mitigation is shown, generally meaning you've gotten insurance since then.
Y eso puede ser reducido hasta la mitad si enseñan que tienen digitalización, que ha sido enseñada o que se puede enseñar que tiene seguro.
Janice, do we have our Spanish advisement of rights?
Yes.
And sir, I apologize that apparently the officer didn't note on the ticket you needed an interpreter. So I'm going to have handed to you the written advisement of your legal rights in Spanish.
Siento que lo que no puede en las notas que se necesitan desde el español, le voy a dar sus derechos legales por escrito en español.
Please take a minute to read this.
Bien.
It looks like you finished.
Parece que terminó.
Let me summarize.
Déjeme le hago un resumen.
You have the right to contest the charges against you by a trial. Do you know what a trial is?
Tiene el derecho de ir contra los cargos que tiene usted por medio de un juicio. ¿Usted sabe lo que es un juicio?
And you have all the rights leading up to a trial, which include that at a trial, you have a right to confront and cross-examine the witnesses against you.
Usted tiene el derecho a todos los derechos que van a seguir hasta este juicio, que incluyen el juicio, y usted tiene el derecho para confrontar y examinar por forma de cruce a los testigos que están contra usted.
You have the right to bring in your own witnesses, but are not required to.
Usted tiene el derecho de traer a sus testigos, pero no es requerido que usted haga eso.
You have the right to testify or not testify yourself, but no one can make you testify.
Usted tiene el derecho de testificar o no testificar por sí mismo, pero nadie lo puede hacer que usted testifique.
You have the right to hire an attorney.
Tiene el derecho de contratar a un abogado.
And if you go to trial and lose, you have the right to appeal to a higher court.
Si pasa un juicio y pierde, usted tiene el derecho de apelar una corte más alta.
You understand all those rights?
¿Usted tiene todos esos derechos?
You already answered. Sir, I have paper that says instead you're just going to plead guilty to the charge. Is that correct?
Y en este papel dice que usted va a decir que fue culpable al cargo. ¿Eso es correcto, señor? ¿Se declaró culpable?
¿Puedo contestar?
This is the interpreter speaking. I require repetition.
Could you say that again louder, please, sir?
¿Puedo contestar?
Sorry, this is the interpreter speaking. I require repetition. Could he please repeat?
Janice, take the phone over to him. I can be loud from here.
You want to approach the bench? 'Cause I don't know. if this-
That's fine too.
Sir,
Sir,
can you
come forward.
please?
The interpreter is asking to repeat my question. Let me start again. I have paper that says you're just going to plead guilty to the charge. Do you want to plead guilty or do you want a trial?
Tengo un papel aquí que dice que usted va a declararse culpable por sí solo y al cargo. ¿Usted quiere declararse culpable o quiere ir a juicio?
¿Puedo alegar algo aquí?
Could I use the thing here?
We're not set for a trial today. If you plead guilty, you have a right to make a statement before I impose a sentence. Otherwise, if you're contesting it, we have a trial.
No tiene el derecho de, usted tiene el derecho de decir una decir algo antes de que usted perdón, después de que usted se declare culpable.
¿Está bien?
Cuenta, esto ahorita, o dice algo para alegar ahorita, puede ir a juicio, sería ya yendo a juicio.
Do you wish to contest the charges by having a trial?
Porque sea con los cargos por medio de tenientos de juicio.
Sí, está bien.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, we'll have you back next month at 5:45. And we'll have an interpreter here.
Quiero estar de regreso la próxima vez. The interpreter crash application. One moment, please. Sir, did you say back next month on 45?
You need to be here on July 18th.
July 16th.
July 16th.
Okay.
5:45.
5:45. Thank you so much.
And my clerk will give you a written notice.
So much. Sí, señor, usted debería estar aquí. Lo veremos el próximo mes, julio 18 a las 5:45. Y mi corte le dará una noticia por escrito.
Ok, está bien.
Please just go over to her area then.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Do you require further interpretation?
No.
Thank you, interpreter.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for using it.
I could have typed it in Google Translate as fast. Let's have an official court interpreter next time. Kira Metcalf. Ms. Metcalf, you're summoned to court for two reasons. First, it's alleged that you were driving a vehicle on the wrong side of a divided highway, contrary to model traffic code section 1010. Do you understand that charge? And then I believe that's a 4-point violation. The second charge, it's alleged you had no proof of insurance. Do you understand that charge?
Yes, sir.
And as to the no proof of insurance, the maximum penalty is 4 points on your driving record, a possible fine as high as $2,650. Do you understand that? And the minimum is $500 unless mitigation is shown. Do you understand that?
Yes.
He drove on the wrong side of the highway. Nick, am I correct? That's a 4-point?
Yes, Your Honor.
4 points on your driving record and a possible fine as high as $2,650. Do you understand that penalty? All right, you applied the written advisement of legal rights. You got a chance. Did you get a chance to read and review that? And do you have any questions about that? You feel you understand your legal rights? Do you know what a trial is? You understand you have a right to an attorney? I have paperwork that says that you've talked to the prosecutor and you would agree to plead guilty to the driving on the wrong side of the highway and the town would dismiss the insurance charge. Is that what you wish to do? You understand by doing that, you're giving up all the rights listed on the right sheet, which means there'll be no trial, there'll be no witnesses. The prosecutor will not have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You are giving up your presumption of innocence and right to an attorney.
Sure.
Did anybody threaten you, force you, coerce you, or otherwise make you plead guilty?
Clear.
Anybody promise you anything not said in court? Is this your free and voluntary plea? Are you under the influence of anything that affects your ability to make a decision? Now we've covered the required questions. How do you plead to the charge of driving on the wrong side of the highway? Guilty or not? Court accepts your plea, finding to be freely, voluntarily, and knowingly made. You're entitled to make a statement and welcome to, but not required to. Is there anything you'd like to tell me?
I was I was pulling into the Taco Bell across the Taco Bell in Frisco, and I wasn't like driving on the opposite side of the highway, but I just drove into the wrong lane going into that Taco Bell.
You got the other side of the divider.
Yes, sir.
And was there an accident?
No, sir.
All right.
Your Honor, I believe I dismissed the 4-point charge for 2-point defective vehicle. Is that not what the paperwork says?
No, you didn't finish that part. Or I'm missing it. I've got you moving to dismiss. Actually, what I've got is you're dismissing both charges.
That is not the case.
Oh, wait a minute. No, all right. My mistake. All right. Let me correct everything. So, ma'am, how do you plead to the charge of defective vehicle? 2 points.
To the defective vehicle.
I didn't read the paperwork correct. Let me start over. So I understand what your rights are.
Yes.
And what I'm telling you now with a corrected reading, your deal is to plead to a 2-point defective vehicle instead of a 4-point driving on the wrong side of the highway. And that's what you want to do. And you're giving up all your rights. And how do you plead to that charge?
Yeah.
All right. Court accepts your plea. Is there anything you want to tell me besides you were trying to go to Taco Bell?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Are you working?
Yes, I have a job, Your Honor.
Okay. I guess there was no accident, so $80 fine, $25 court costs, $30 I'm sorry, $25 surcharge, $30 court costs, total $135. Can you pay that?
Yes.
Please see my court clerk. Dale Plummer. Good evening. Sir, you are charged and summoned to court to answer allegations you supposedly were speeding more than 20 and less than 39 miles an hour over the posted limit. Do you understand the charge?
Yes, sir.
Speeding in that range carries a possible penalty of 6 points on your driving record, a possible fine as high as $2,650. And if you're more than 25 over, 10 days in jail. Do you understand the possible penalty? You were provided the written advisement of legal rights, you get a chance to read and review your legal rights. Do you have any questions about your rights?
Yes.
Do you feel you understand them?
Yes.
Do you know what a trial is?
Yes.
Do you understand you have a right to hire an attorney? Yes. I have paperwork. The prosecutors offered you to plead guilty to a 4-point speeding. Is that what you want to do?
Yes, Your Honor.
I will tell you in advance, I don't see it on here, but on all 6-point speedings, I require a level 1 driving class plus what I call my math essay. You still want to do the deal?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You understand by pleading guilty, you're giving up all the rights listed in the right sheet, which means no trial, no witnesses. The prosecutor will not have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You're giving up your presumption of innocence and right to an attorney.
Yes, sir.
Anybody threaten you? Anybody promise you anything not said here? Is this your free and voluntary plea?
Yes.
Are you under the influence of anything? Now we've covered the required questions. How do you plead to 4-point speeding? Court accepts your plea from a freely, voluntarily, and knowingly made. You are entitled to a statement and welcome to anything you want to tell me.
Yes, sir. I had just gotten back from New York and my mother passed away. And it was right at the same time that my landlord had told me that she was selling our place. So I was effectively going to be homeless the months coming up. And I came out of the corner and I really wasn't paying attention. So that's how that ended up happening. You know, like I feel like my life's kind of crashing around me. That's
Appreciate
I
that.
do apologize, you know, like I should have been more attentive to what was going on, but
Well, it's understandable. I mean, it's one of the things they go over in driving school and in judges school that people's emotional state comes out in their foot. The only thing worse are people who are getting divorced. They go crazy speeding.
yeah, I don't, my problems are pretty significant, but thankfully.
Well, I'm sorry for
anything else to it.
sorry for your circumstances. I won't change the classes, but I will consider that in the fine, in that I will make it only a $50 fine. And because you are gonna have to pay for the level 1 class. And the $25 surcharge and the $30 court cost for a total of $105, which is maybe the lowest one tonight. So
Thank you very much.
can you pay that?
Yes.
Please see my court clerk.
Thank you.
You want these noted on the back here? I should have asked.
Okay.
Let's go upstairs. This is from the other one. Catherine Hayes. Good evening. Ma'am, you were summoned to court to answer allegations that you were speeding more than 20 and less than 39 miles an hour over the posted limit. Do you understand the charge? Possible penalty in speeding at that range is 6 points on your driving record, a fine as high as $2,650, and if more than 25, over 10 days in jail. Do you understand the possible penalty? You were provided the written advisement of legal rights. Did you have a chance to read and review that? Do you have any questions? Do you feel you fully understand it? Do you know what a trial is? I understand you have a right to an attorney. I have paperwork that the prosecutors offered you to plead guilty to a 3-point special hazards, along with a driving class and court fines. And as in the last case, I also have a little math problem for you.
Yes,
Are you agreeable to those terms? You understand by pleading guilty pursuant to that agreement, you are giving up all the rights listed on the right sheet, which means there'll be no trial, there'll be no witnesses. The prosecutor won't have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You are giving up the presumption of innocence and right to an attorney. Did anybody threaten you? No. Anybody promise you? This is your free and voluntary plea.
Yes.
Are you under the influence?
No.
Now we've covered all that. How do you plead to 3-point speeding? Court accepts your plea, finding it to be freely, voluntarily, and knowingly made. You're entitled to make a statement and welcome to, but not required to. Is there anything you want to tell me? Thank you.
I don't know. Nothing I really say. This feels like,
Looks like you've had a good driving record except for this.
yeah.
Or either Nevada just doesn't send us any information. What happens in Vegas?
Is they've got bigger issues in Las Vegas than speeding. Not that I speed there.
I've been on the
but-
strip enough to know there's unlimited speeding on the strip.
Yeah, I've got people go so fast there. It's
I just realized what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas meant traffic records too.
oh no, I've never gotten pulled over in Vegas.
Okay.
There's too much traffic to speed.
So are you local and working here?
Huh?
Are you local and working here?
I am working here, yes.
$100 fine, which is half of the original, since you got half the points. $25 surcharge, $30 court cost, $155. Can you pay that today? Please see my court clerk. And this. Okay. Which one is the
This is
top one? Okay. Court called the case of Michael Morris.
Your Honor, we also had Nate Douglas scheduled for 5:30 PM. And I do not, I don't see Mr. Douglas, and I have Officer Hornick here, who's the citing officer, and I'd just like to get that resolved so that he can go about his day.
This was scheduled for a trial for littering and camping.
No, public consumption. of
I'm
alcohol.
sorry, public consumption. What the people's position about ordinance, I don't think I can default ordinances, can I? All I can do is issue a warrant.
Yeah, I was going to suggest a bench warrant, Your Honor.
All right, bench warrant for, since it says he's trained, bench warrant for 500. And everybody's released. Thanks for coming.
And we're ready to present on the Morris trial.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome to sit at that table. Yep. You, looks like I have signed, you, received our trial rights and procedure. Do you have any questions before we begin? Does anybody have any motions before we begin?
Your Honor.
People, please proceed. Any opening?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Morris, any opening? Any opening statement? Everybody has the right to make an opening statement. Opening statements are not evidence. In fact, they're really designed for more complicated and longer trials than a municipal court trial. But if you want to make some kind of statement that outlines what you think the case is about, you're welcome to do that. The prosecutor just said the case is too short. He's not making one, but you can do one if you want, or we can just get down to the witnesses.
Yeah, I just want to say my part.
Okay. If you want to say it as evidence, it has to be under oath when we get to that part of the trial. All right, I'm going to take that you've waived your opening statement. Please proceed with the prosecution's first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're calling Officer Elias Brown, Frisco PD.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury.
I do.
Please be seated.
Officer Brown, could you state your first and last name for the record, please?
Elias Brown.
And are you currently employed?
I'm sorry?
Are you currently employed?
I am.
In what capacity?
As a police officer for the town of Frisco.
And for how long have you been a police officer for the town of Frisco?
I've been a police officer for the town of Frisco for cumulatively a total of nearly 7 years.
And you mentioned cumulatively, so I'm assuming there's been different time periods on and off for your employment.
Yeah, I started my career with Frisco in 2008, and I left in 2013. I was with the Arvada Police Department for 9 years, and then I came back to Frisco. So I have a total of 17 years of experience.
And when did you come back to the town of Frisco?
I came back to Frisco in September of 2024.
So you were employed by the Frisco PD as a police officer on November 5th, 2024?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall whether you worked that day?
Yes.
And do you recall what shift you worked that day?
Yeah. I was on the day shift.
And what's the day shift?
The day shift operates between the hours of 7 a.m. and 5 p.m.
So you were on duty at 7:32 a.m. that day?
Yes.
And do you remember what sort of duties you were performing at that time?
Yes, I was conducting routine patrol in the area of School Road and Summit Boulevard in the town of Frisco, Summit County, Colorado.
And do you recall issuing any traffic citations at 7:32 on November 5th
I do.
That approximate location? And could you please describe for the court?
Absolutely. So I had actually just fueled up my patrol vehicle, and the town shops are located on School Road near Summit Boulevard. And I came out of the town shop, and I was actually stopped at a red light westbound School Road at Summit Boulevard. I observed across the street a pedestrian that was at the bus stop waiting to cross the street. It's a very high volume pedestrian time because there's a school nearby, the Summit Middle School. And so I was very cognizant of making sure that a vehicle did not run a red light in that area. Frequent violation in that area. And so as I was sitting there waiting to turn left onto Summit Boulevard from westbound School Road, I observed a white Ford Transit van in the left lane of southbound Summit Boulevard. Approaching the intersection, I observed that the traffic light for southbound traffic turned red. And I even observed that the pedestrian across the road near the bus stop actually stepped off the curb. And at that point in time, the white Ford Transit van did not stop at that clearly posted or clearly visible steady red light and crossed the plane of the intersection after the light had turned red. And I conducted a traffic stop on that vehicle.
And the red, just for the court's knowledge, was it a steady red light? There was no flashing?
There's no flashing red light in that area.
And where would you say, could you once again just tell us what intersection the light was at?
Yeah, the intersection of Summit Boulevard and School Road. It is important to note for the court that that intersection is School Road on the east side and County Road 1040 on the west side.
Thank you. And is that in the town of Frisco?
Yes,
And is it in this county of Summit?
yes.
So you witnessed this traffic violation, and what did you do next?
I conducted a traffic stop on that vehicle in the area of Summit Boulevard and Main Street.
And do you recall the traffic stop?
Yes, I do.
Could you describe it for the court?
Yes, it was a large white Ford Transit van.
And did you speak to the driver?
Yes, I did. I spoke to the driver of that Ford Transit.
And do you see the driver of that white Ford Transit van in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do. He's sitting to my left wearing a black polo shirt.
Could the record please reflect that Officer Brown identified the defendant? When you contacted the defendant, did he make any statements to you?
Yes, he stated that he felt as though he couldn't stop without burning up his tires on his vehicle.
And what did you think of that?
It was my belief that it is incumbent on the operator of the vehicle to travel at a safe speed and in a manner that's reasonable and prudent for due regard to other drivers and pedestrians on the roadway. And if there's a red light, you need to be able to stop at that red light. I would note that the red light was not a fresh red light. It was a stale red light, meaning it had been illuminated for about 2 seconds prior to the transit van going through that intersection. So it wasn't one of these scenarios where it was a light that had gone from yellow to red and was close to call. This was an egregious violation in my mind.
Thank you for that. Is there anything else you'd like the court to know? That'll be it for the town, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Morris, this is your opportunity for cross-examination. That is your opportunity to ask the officer questions. Please come to the podium and proceed.
Yeah, I'm not here to fight or something like that. Just for my perspective, the truth, that everything that you say is true. I agree with that. Just some spot, was not like I mean it to do it. I've been here in Summit County. I've been having troubles before. I learned a lot. I've been in probation. I've been in a lot of things. I already been from that scenario. I have like pretty, better record for me. And it's something that I don't mean to do it. And the reason that situation happened from the kind of the speed that I have, that I am sure I was not over. Those 2 seconds of kind of red and yellow, whatever it was that you know what I mean, like that switch.
Sir, I hate to interrupt you, but you're really making a statement and not asking questions. If you want to make a statement that comes later, this is your chance to ask this officer questions. So if you have questions for the officer, please do so
Okay, sorry, Honor. I don't have any questions.
Okay, thank you. You'll have your opportunity here in just a minute. Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, nothing further.
People rest. Now, sir, the prosecutor's finished his case. If you wish to make a statement, you need to be put under oath, and I'm required to give you a detailed warning under a case called People versus Curtis. You understand, everybody in our system has the right to remain silent. And it is possible that you can simply argue the prosecutor didn't prove their case. But the only thing the judge can consider is evidence, and evidence is only what comes from witnesses under oath. Now, you can become a witness also and make a statement under oath, but if you do so, the prosecutor has the right to ask you questions. And you get treated like any other witness. And once you give up your right to remain silent and being treated like any other witness, it means you must answer all the proper questions that are put to you. It can't be like you answer the first 4 questions about your name and address and what's your dog's name, but you don't like the next question and you want to remain silent at that point. You cannot re-establish the right to remain silent. So you get treated like any other witness and get cross-examined. We don't make you ask yourself questions. You get to make a statement first. Knowing how that works, do you wish to testify? Do you wish to make a statement under oath?
Yes.
Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
And please come sit over here.
This one?
Yes, please. Go ahead and make your statement.
My statement is going to be, I know rules and everything in the, the traffic violation and stuff. And for my side, I know how things works, and I don't mean to pass a red light. I know the consequences of that happened before in the past in Puerto Rico, where I'm from. I know how things work. The only thing that I want to put to defend myself is like, I think that I will make a worse scenario if I try to stop right away when I have a vehicle that was not working. That I don't know that happened till I actually have I actually bring the car to the shop and they tell me what was going on. And that's why I don't brake right away. Plus I was have a lot of stuff because I was in a moving situation. So I have a fish tank and a lot of stuff inside my van that if I put my brakes right, how, you know what I mean? Right to when the light turns yellow or red, that switch, I am 100% sure that can be worst scenario for trying to maneuver in having a vehicle that have I have here the proof, not the proof, this is what they find. And I have a rock wedge in between my back plate and rotor of my vehicle. And that's why I don't want to brake and push that and start doing maneuvers.
Okay, is that the end of your statement? Okay. Any cross-examination?
No, Your Honor.
All right. You may go back to your seat. Any rebuttal?
No, Your Honor.
Closing statements?
No, Your Honor.
Sir, you can make a closing statement, which is not evidence, just repeating your point of view, if you wish, or whatever other points you want to make. Do you want to make any more statements? All right. The court finds that on November 5th of 2024 at about 7:32 in the morning, that Officer Brown was on duty and coming from the fueling station located on the east side of School Road and was facing westbound, looking at the light where he saw the defendant driving a white Ford Transit van coming southbound from the direction of the freeway toward downtown Frisco, and observed the defendant drive through a red light that had been red for at least 2 seconds at the same time a pedestrian was present. Sir, I do have to explain to you that intention doesn't matter under the law. Whether you intended to do a traffic mistake, a traffic offense, it's what we call strict liability. I also have to suggest to you, if you think it was unsafe to stop, it means you're driving too fast, that the lights are programmed so that the yellows are long enough, if you are at the speed limit, that there's plenty of time to stop in a safe manner. So the matters you've raised are not a legal defense. And I'm quite concerned that there was pedestrian, but at that time, that's school time when kids are crossing there. Need to slow down, pay more attention to the lights. Court does find you guilty of failure to obey a traffic control device, a 4-point violation. Any request from the people beyond a reasonable doubt based upon the evidence presented to the court. And basically the defendant's confession of the cause of action. So any recommendations from the people as far as sentence?
No, Your Honor, whatever you decide.
Just looking for driving record here. Looks like there's a 2020 and a 2019 failure to drive is required on a divided highway. Have you been to driving school, sir? Has any judge on your own case required driving school? They just on your DUI, they required alcohol class, right? But what about a driving class, though? Probably not. Probably not. I'm going to order that you take a level 1 driving class.
That's online?
Yes.
By what time, Your Honor?
By August 20th, or appear back here. On the fine on this, I am going to impose a $200 fine, but suspend 100 of it on condition you complete the class on time and on condition that you have no other traffic tickets for the next 6 months for the remainder of this year. Otherwise, you're going to owe us more money. Any questions about the sentence?
What's the total? So that I hear the
100, well, actually, it's 100 plus the court costs and surcharge are 55, so it's 155. Can you pay that today, or do you need a payment plan?
the payment plan.
All right,
Like I have money, but my card is blocked right now.
that's fine. Payments due by August 20th or appear. I also have to tell you, you have the right to appeal my decision today to the District and Appellate Courts of Colorado within 35 days of today's trial and sentence. I think that concludes the matter. Please see my court clerk for paperwork.
Honor, we adjourn.
We are adjourned unless anyone else has business. Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, great. I'm having fun.
I actually I went up to Vail this past weekend with my fiance and the dog.